This podcast is brought to you by Blue Guardian, the fastest growing prop firm in 2023.
I think if any firm does that, then yeah, it's definitely not allowed and it definitely needs to be investigated. One prop firm done it and everyone just started panicking and started doing it. I don't know where they even got the idea to do that. And also I'm seeing a lot of stuff online about the country that you're being in, whether that's going to affect it. A lot of people are saying, only go with firms that are incorporated. It turns out that the regulatory body can basically come after anyone they want. I think originally they looked at no, surely not. And then I'm like, oh my God, this could be a massive issue. I think we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of smaller prop firms in the next 6 months.
Folks, we've got a special kind of episode here on TRADINGNUT. We've got Sean Bainton in the house, the CEO of Blue Guardian, a prop firm based in the UK. Now, we're going to discuss, and he's going to spill the beans on the whole My Forex funds being frozen out by the regulators. So we're going to dive into that and the likes of what Deel is doing, where they put a temporary hold on all payments from prop firms as well. So how does this impact the industry? You as traders looking to get funded from prop firms and make withdrawals on a regular basis. In fact, we did an interview with Sean a few weeks ago, which we're going to play after this My Forex Funds expose, and then we're going to dive into that interview. So stay tuned for the interview afterwards. And just so you know, I have, since recording what we've just about to show you, found out that, Sean's let me know that they've actually been accepted back into Deel. They are one of the few prop firms that has. So yeah, folks, they actually have come out of this kind of unscathed. And just as a reminder, we've got 5 traders taking on this Blue Guardian challenge at the moment. You can see them over there on the live streams, including myself. And we also have a 10% off coupon code that you can use, all one word, TRADINGNUT. There's a link in the description to save 10% on your next Blue Guardian challenge. All right, folks, let's welcome Sean to the show.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been a crazy 4 weeks since our previous interview. Yeah, I'm good to be back. Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, to start off with, I suppose, just to get an inside perspective, I mean, how have things been at Blue Guardian since this happened with My Forex Fund and the regulators?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, the last few weeks since the My Forex Fund issue happened has been super stressful. I've never been, working as hard and, so tightly with my team as well since how I've been in the past 4 weeks. There's been a lot of issues that we've had to resolve, been loads of changes that we've had to make inside and the structure of the company. Just talking a lot with the legal side of the team. But apart from that, Blue Guardian is still doing business as usual. I've made sure that we've got a lot of things in place to ensure that we can continue running, and we will be completely fine going forward and accepting clients globally.
Brilliant. Okay, so obviously, I mean, you've probably had a chat to a few other funds out there. I mean, prop firms, should I say? How's everyone else faring? I mean, have other people had to change anything they're doing, or are you guys in a unique position because you're using ACAP as a broker? I mean, how does that all work?
Yeah, definitely. So the first 24 hours, I would say, of the news coming out, I speak quite regularly with a lot of the prop firm owners. Everyone was a little bit shaken. I think the whole industry was. We were like, oh my God, My Forex Fund was actually seen as one of the most preferred prop firms in the industry. So it was a massive shock to everyone, especially me. I wouldn't even lie. I kind of had a little bit of a panic. I was like, what's going on here? I had to get my team out to look at the documents that were released, and it was a bit of a waiting game. I couldn't really do anything at that moment of time. We just had to wait until I got further information on the situation from my legal team, from what the regulatory body says. But going further, I got more information from my lawyers, and basically it boils down to a few things. It boils down to the whole document is targeting My Forex funds only and not the prop firm industry as a whole. And that needs to be made very clear that there's an issue that has happened with My Forex Fund and not how an actual prop firm, runs as a whole. The issues that have gone on were internal with My Forex Funds, and allegedly there was, fraud and manipulation that was going on with manipulating traders' conditions. And yeah, it seems like when I actually read it and my team read it, it seems like they were dealing allegedly with regulated activities, but they were not regulated. So they were kind of doing that. That's where they kind of crossed the line, and that's when the regulatory body came in and was like, look, this is not how you're meant to be running it properly. You haven't got regulation to be doing this, and there is manipulation of conditions which is not allowed, because My Forex funds, they do have their own kind of bridge and they do have their own broker, not broker, but like liquidity. I'm not 100% sure the whole back-end system. But yeah, here at, you mentioned 8cap as well. Here at Blue Guardian, we use a regulated broker. There's no way that we can, we're not even allowed to manipulate price or manipulate any conditions. It's all whatever the broker gives us. We give that directly to the trader. There's no bridge. There's nothing we can do to affect it. We've been getting, a lot of messages from the trader saying, "Oh, look, I think the slippage is more than what I'm getting in other firms." But yeah, I'll let you know that it's actually not even possible to do that. I think if any firm does that, then yeah, it's definitely not allowed, and it definitely needs to be investigated. But yeah, I think now that we've had a little bit of time to go everything and look at it, we've made changes. I know that a lot of our prop firms are adding like virtual and simulated onto the websites. I'm not sure if you knew. Did you notice that?
Yeah. No,
okay, so basically, I think like one prop firm went around and put simulated or virtual on their website, like virtual funds, to try to say oh, obviously we're not doing real funds. I think one prop firm done it, and everyone just started panicking and started doing it. I don't know where they even got the idea to do that. I don't know like what legal advice they got, but it seems like one person doing it, everyone else was a bit of a sheep and copied it. I spoke to my lawyers and they said, yeah, like they were like, I don't think putting virtual is going to stop, the regulators coming after you if you've done something wrong,
Yeah.
And also I'm seeing a lot of stuff online about, the country that you're being in, whether that's going to affect it. A lot of people are saying, oh, only go with firms that are incorporated in the UAE, stay away from the Canadian and US firms. I was in a similar boat. I was like, oh, we are in the process of moving to the UAE. This was a process that we went through and began months ago, not even related to this at all, completely like personal stuff. I wanted to move there personally. But yeah, I was literally like, oh, maybe it's kind of lucky that we are moving. After a bit more information on the situation, it turns out that the regulatory body can basically come after anyone they want. I think originally they looked at true Forex funds many months ago, and they're located in Hungary. So the location doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're choosing a firm that is operating correctly. And if they do get audited or if they do get investigated by a firm, they comply correctly and they're not doing anything shady. That's what's most important. And it's a massive shock. And I think everyone's just a little bit on edge. But as time goes on, things will start to cool off and kind of slowly go back into its places. But we definitely need to be ready for more situations like this. Definitely.
Yeah, because we obviously spoke about regulation coming, into the prop firm industry sometime in the future, and we couldn't really predict it in the interview that was coming up. So you're going to find out all about that conversation, which is kind of, this isn't regulation, obviously. This is just a full-on, I suppose, just a one-off incident. Now, it's also, I know that in Australia, there was a firm there that had the regulators come on and said, basically, stop business. And I think that was potentially, actually, I'm not 100% sure what that was for, but I had a funny feeling it was that they just got too many complaints about the specific firm and decided to pull it. Do you know anything about that? And was it correlated at all to what's happened with my Forex funds?
So I know the firm that you're talking about. I'm not going to mention them, but yeah, they did have a lot of complaints against them. Personally, I'll be honest, I don't know too much on the situation, but that was another bit of a shock because they were a massive firm. Whether it's related to this, I don't think it is, because I feel like a lot of people would have made more noise about it if they were manipulating it. But the whole issue with this is the firm had someone in the worst thing about this is someone in the firm that actually works for the firm, my Forex funds, has actually kind of came forward, and I think it's called whistleblowing, when someone has actually came forward and released, a load of information, and turns out internally, the structure allegedly was not being run, correctly, and that's why it's been shut down.
Right.
That's why it's been frozen. Sorry.
Yeah, frozen. Yes, and so now the second piece of the puzzle comes in, like I think it was yesterday or the day before, whereby I see through a chat thing that I'm on that Deel's now decided to temporarily put a hold on all prop firm payments. So, first of all, what did you feel like when you saw that come through, and what was the panic situation like at the Guardian?
So I woke up about 2 days ago. I was on holiday actually in Marbella in Spain, and I was, I just came back from like some business meeting there, really happy, on top of the world. Got back on a flight, I landed down and looked at my phone, and everyone's sending me a message saying, bro, like deals will shut us down. Well, deals shut down every prop firm. I'm like, no, surely not. And then I'm like, oh my God, like this could be a massive issue. I need to get home ASAP. And basically since then, yeah, I've just been working nonstop trying to sort out an issue, trying to get alternatives. What has happened is on the 11th, another document came out about my Forex funds, and in that document, Deel was labelled as a payment partner with my Forex funds, and obviously straight away, if now they're getting investigated by the regulations, and I think I saw a statement from one of the executives basically saying, look, prop firms don't even make up 1% of our business. We had no idea, what kind of industry they were. He hasn't really done any research into what we are at all. He's just seen this one thing. And I'll be the exact same. If I was a major company like them and, less than 1% of my business has been shut down by the, regulatory body, I would also want to wash your hands of it. So I don't blame them at all.
Yep.
But I feel like we've definitely all been categorized by the bad work of another firm, which is really like it sucks. It sucks for us. It sucks for the trader most of all because this is Deel was amazing. It was such a good platform for you to withdraw your profits. We still don't know the whole situation. I'm hearing that some firms are being approved, some firms are being rejected. So it's a weird situation. For the time being, we are obviously looking at alternatives, and we are doing direct payments via wire, wires, and crypto. So business still goes on. We keep moving.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So look, is there anything I haven't asked yet that you wanted to share around this whole situation?
Yeah, I think just quickly, how is this going to affect the future prop firms? Like, how is it going to affect new prop firms and older prop firms? And what are we going to be seeing more of? I think we're definitely going to be seeing a lot more prop firms moving offshore, and I think we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of smaller prop firms in the next 6 months being shut down. Reasons, for example, just like payment gateways restricting prop firms. They might be like, look, we see you as two. People don't realize that a payment gateway could be the difference of a business working and not working. It's so important. If you can't accept funds, then yeah, that could be game over. That's why I'd highly recommend that you choose a prop firm that is big enough and have already put these things in place to ensure that they stay up no matter what happens. If they get taken down by one company, we have alternatives. At Blue Guardian, we've got multiple bank accounts in multiple different countries. We've got multiple different processing providers. So if one thing happens, we've got a backup there that we can, ensure that we keep business running.
Awesome. Well, look, it's great to hear that you've managed to overcome the situation with, and I believe you've definitely got a Deel alternative on the cards. Is that right?
Yeah, so there's actually, I didn't even know there's a lot of alternatives to Deel. I think some ones that we're going to be seeing incorporated into the prop firms are remote. That's a pretty popular one. Currently, right now, we're looking at onboarding our staff members anyway for the time being, just as a tester onto I think it's called Multiplier. But yeah, there are quite a few different solutions that are out there. So it's not the end of the world. Like, people are going around saying, "Oh my God, how are we going to receive payments?" Look, think back to like 12 months ago. How are people receiving payments? Just direct wire transfers, etc. So it really is. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep growing, and we just got to be safe. We just got to move safely.
Awesome. Hey, look, Sean, this has been fantastic to jump in and talk about this subject. I think this has educated a hell of a lot of people. We're going to jump into the rest of the show as well. So guys, it's not over yet. Let's just cut to the next part of the show where we're going to find out what happened like 3 or 4 weeks ago when we recorded it and spoke about the industry as a whole and wider things. So even just more general stuff. So let's dive into that now. Right, folks, I'm here at the Black Bull Markets headquarters up in Auckland, New Zealand, and I'm standing in front of their whiskey bar. Now, if you like that kind of selection, you're going to love their 26,000 tradable assets from Forex, cryptos, indices, stocks, you name it, they've got it. So, folks, go and check them out at blackbullmarkets.com or click the link under the video or in the card above. All right, folks, here we are on TRADINGNUT. We've got Sean Bainton in the house. So he's got the same logo as me, Blue Guardian CEO, here for today to talk to us about prop firm industry, prop firms as a whole, his prop firm, and really give you guys an insight if you are looking to trade prop firms, how you can go about it and what goes on in behind the scenes and where things may go in the future. So welcome to the show, Sean.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, look, I'm excited to have you on because I'm got a bunch of questions I want to get through and find out. But to start off with, let's hear a little bit about your story, how you got into the trading industry as a whole, and started Blue Guardian and the journey to date.
Yeah, definitely. So I started trading quite young, I'd say, about 15 years old. It started a kind of similar journey to a lot of other people. I was going through Instagram and I come across an advert of one of these, Forex gurus with his Lamborghini showing his MT4 profits. And straight away, I was captivated. I was like, oh my God, I want to be this person. I want to live this life, this lavish lifestyle. And from them, it was like a ball rolling. I was just involved with it and wanted to, be a trader. So I bought one of these gurus courses, and then, I learned pretty quickly that it wasn't exactly how they portrayed it online. It takes a long time. It takes years of, testing, forward testing before you actually go live and actually making any sort of profit. And there are some traders that don't ever end up making profit, which I just didn't understand in the beginning. So I went and bought one of these courses, was doing that for a while, maybe 6 months to a year, before I actually found No Nonsense Forex on YouTube. I'm not sure if you aware.
Yeah, I've had VP on the show years ago.
Oh wow, okay, yeah. So yeah, then I got involved in his YouTube channel and his kind of courses on there. I was very involved in his Discord at the time, and I even became like a mod in the Discord. And I was literally I was living his concepts and his algorithm every day after school, after college. I'd come back test this strategy with I forgot some software that you can like click and the candles go next, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I do remember seeing something like that, or a video of it at the time.
Yeah. So I was literally for a whole year straight while I was in college, I was basically just doing this, and that was my main focus. And then it was only maybe about a year after that I started hearing about more that algorithmic and EA side of trading, and building your own algorithms and coding them out. And then I got involved in quantitative analysis, where you can actually use software and machine learning to kind of like put together different indicators, different price action coding to create an EA. And we started building EAs to initially try and pass prop firms. And that's actually how I kind of stepped from the normal retail trading your own funds to then learning about these companies that can give you funding and capital to trade on. So yeah, I got into that with my partner, and my partner Eric, you'll hear a bit more about in a bit. So we were doing that, and we started selling it in our own Discord, in our own community to try and pass. We passed FTMO ourselves, both of us, multiple times. And we kind of got a little bit of money gathered up from the selling it to clients. And we were like, we saw a massive gap in the market. At the time, there was only a handful of these, commercial prop firms that were willing to give capital to, normal retail traders without the whole, going in for real interviews in a suit, for example, and actually trying to work on a trading floor. Yeah. So we saw a massive, space in the industry to do this, and a massive gap. And what we thought we could do is create something that is a lot more, focused and based around the trader. So it wasn't so hard to get funded. It's more just trader oriented, because there's so many rules that, FTMO at the time had that would be restrictive, like no weekend trading or this with multiple firms. You've seen it all before. Yeah. And we took a massive risk. It was a huge risk. I basically withdrew all of my trust fund when I turned 18. I know it sounds really young to start a prop firm, but yes, I was 18 when I started it. I withdrew my trust fund, and Eric I think he was 23 at the time, and he just was about to finish university in the UK, in Scotland, sorry. And he withdrew all of his student loan, and he was like, "Look, we've got a dream. We think we can do this. We put it all together. The money we made from selling the EAs, my trust fund, sorry, his student loan, and boom, we went headfirst into it. We had no stop loss, no backup plan. It was a massive risk, I'll be honest, but it seems like we got in at the right time, because trying to start what we did back then now, I feel like it would have been a lot harder, if not near to impossible. So
yeah, it definitely would have been difficult, because what year was that? 2019, was it?
No, so we started, the whole EA selling company, and that during 2019, 2020, and in 2021 is actually when we launched our prop firm.
Yeah. So it was just starting to really kick up in 2021, because I do even remember VP, because I mean I've been doing this for a while, and he was saying, like, rule number one, trade with other people's money, and I was like, really? Even back then I was like, really? Is that really a valid approach? And he was talking about this, I think it was like Maverick trading prop firm.
Yeah.
And so I looked into that, and I was like, oh, you had to pay $2,000 a month to get a seat on the floor or whatever, and all this sort of stuff. It was quite, high barriers to entry. Whereas now it's obviously, low as can be, pretty much. So you started it off, and how did it go from there? Smooth sailing?
Yeah. So I definitely would not say it's smooth sailing. We have had a lot of, ups and downs on the way. We're here now, we're thriving, we're growing, so we've managed to make it looks like, and it's all going okay. But just like I'll say, in the beginning, the first 3 to 6 months of any startup company is going to be your toughest. You're gonna have so many different issues that you're gonna run into. Like, for example, there was this one time when we had a server with close to 100 traders on the server, and it shut down, meaning we couldn't track. This was before we had our new tech and new software. We couldn't track whether these people are actually passing or if they were failing. So literally, we were like panicking all in the office. We were like, "Oh my god, we need to get this sorted now." And we managed to get it up and running within a couple hours. And any traders that had any issues, we solved it. But yeah, like just small things like this. I guess that was quite big at the time, but little things like that here and there. These are the issues that you have to kind of overcome in the beginning.
Yeah, and look, I mean, things have moved pretty quickly in this industry, right? And firms are popping up and have popped up and dropped down all over the last 3 years. Now it seems like, I mean, I'm getting the impression that it seems like every sort of influencer out there is creating a prop firm, because it is the investment to start one up. There's software out there that you can get access to that will, they'll pretty much set you up in whatever format you want for very little investment. What's your view on this sort of prevalence this is where I can see it happening, is there'll be so many prop firms out there that it'll be almost like MT4 brokers back in the day, when there was just thousands of them and you didn't know if you were getting a good one or a bad one. I mean, what's your view on this, and what do you think people need to be wary of, or signs they need to look out for?
Definitely. Yeah. So I believe that we have entered the prop firm bubble stage. Everyone has kind of worked out that, this is a profitable business. There is a lot of money to be made. And, if they have the right influence, especially like you mentioned, like you can very quickly get a lot of volume traders onto your platform. My kind of view on it is that, there's nothing we can do. There's going to be loads of new prop firms popping up here and there. The only issue is there has to be some diversification. There can't be prop firm after prop firm just recycling the same rules, the same model, the same branding in a way. There has to be some change. And that's why, with any firms that, Blue Guardian, for example, we want to have a strict and strong brand theme. And, the branding is a massive part to it. For example, the Blue Guardian, the whole theme is about guarding the capital of the trader. That's why we'll talk a bit more about the Guardian Protector going on. But there needs to be some differentiation about a firm, the rules going into it, the model. It can't just be the same old recycled push out, because it's definitely gonna get out of hand when there are this many out there.
And so what do you think somebody needs to look out for if they've followed an influencer and they've in the trading space, and they've see they've got a prop firm? What are the sort of key signs they need to monitor?
Yeah, so already, like, I'd be very wary about any of these new prop firms popping up straight away. If I was you, I would, sit back a little bit, maybe a few months, to see how it goes. If the company goes under, if they're getting bad reviews, bad testimonials, just there's nothing really I can say, but do your research and give it time, because a firm can very quickly make a lot of money and think it look like it's doing okay in the first 1, 2, 3 months. But if they aren't profitable long term, you'll see that eventually 6 months down the line, it could go bankrupt. You could lose your money. And if you get, it's just, you need to just sit back, maybe don't jump in anything too quickly, and just look out for the red flags, like bad reviews. You're hearing bad stories or testimonials about the firm. Look at the people running it behind it. You even have access these days to, company accounts. If you want to look how much, a company is doing or how much is in its holding account, for example, there are websites out there that you can have a look and you can work out, does this company have financial backing to be able to have all these traders coming on it?
Yeah, because it is it's a bit of a balancing act, right? So, and I'm guessing you've been through that over the years in terms of like seeing the money coming in and, seeing traders come in and either make consistent withdrawals or fall out of the process rather quickly. I mean, what sort of, is there any one thing that you'd think, if you saw a prop firm start up and they had this particular rule that was flexible enough for the trader to get through pass and make a few withdrawals and then potentially fail, what would that rule be that would be like hey, this is a red flag, I gotta steer clear of this because it's just too easy and I may not get future withdrawals?
I'm not sure if there's 100% like a pinpoint rule I can look at, but if something sounds too good to be true, majority of the time it is too good to be true. If it's looking too easy to pass, if it's looking too the profit targets are too low, for example, the max drawdown is too high, you're looking at like, is this actually profitable for the firm to allow this many traders onto it? Because there's so many traders that could get lucky, pass, get a big withdrawal, and they can't actually be abled. They can't actually, they're not actually successful and good traders to put into the A booking and give to the the LP. And copy or copy to live funds. So yeah, just did a look and just if a company is doing something completely out of the ordinary, like a 5% profit target on phase one and 10% next drawdown, these are just like go-tos. The swing wrong here, and it just doesn't look right,
Yeah, because it is a fine line then between the differentiation, as you mentioned, like for the new firms coming on, having to try and differentiate against an industry which is like getting very big very quick. And everyone else is differentiating. So to find that point of difference is now quite difficult. I mean, you guys did it with the Guardian Protector. What was the thinking around that? Why did you decide to bring that in?
Yeah, so I guess probably about February this year, we planned and we started a whole rebrand of Blue Guardian. Before Blue Guardian, there wasn't really much theme to it. And then when we did come in with a new branding, we wanted a whole theme of, guarding, because it goes with the name, if that makes sense, guarding and helping the trader to start best of our ability. That's kind of why you see the castle theme. We didn't copy the funded trader, don't worry, guys. It kind of just sounds good with our name. But yeah, if you're not sure with what the Guardian Protector is, it's kind of a built-in equity protector that's actually hosted in the dashboard. This means that no matter where you are, whether you're traveling, you can just go onto your phone if you want to log into the dashboard and set a daily loss essentially, so you don't lose it in a day. It helps so many traders. I think last month it saved almost 2,000 traders from failing their valuation and basically getting a second try. So you will not really see any other firms doing something and offering something like this, because a lot of firms out there, they kind of are trading against the trader. They want them to fail because of how their model is set. At Blue Guardian, we're not greedy here. We want you to be the most successful trader you can and be the most profitable. That's why we have given you a tool to allow you to, I guess, save your account in case you get into drawdown.
Yeah, now I've been in the situation where it was real pain. I did a challenge and I passed the challenge within I think it was actually very quickly, maybe 4 days, using an EA, and I passed it, but it didn't close the trade. And I think I was asleep, and then woke up in the morning, and it was like, it was I can't remember. It was like sort of 0.5% off the target because it had gone over that target limit and dropped back down. I mean, have you guys thought about bringing anything like that where somebody does meet the target, but they don't get a chance to close a trade, but they've essentially reached it, and then protect that or give them at least the pass? Is that something in the future?
Yeah. So it's interesting that you actually say this, because I think about last week, I have pushed out an update to the Blue Guardian with a tech team where you don't just have the stop loss built in now, but you can also set your own take profit. That way, situations like this, where you go to sleep and you're scared that it will go over and then go back down, this will literally help you now. So we've literally, it's funny that you say, so by the time this comes out, this interview, it might be available for traders to use.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, because it took me 2 weeks after that for it to pass the
no,
thing.
God.
And I
I'll
actually
be fuming.
did build in a bot to then close the profit when it got to that level. And I think it was, I mean, it does become quite sort of technical in terms of how you do it, because it was like, oh, I didn't want to just close it at the level, because what if it goes up and then price slips, and then you're slightly there, like, you're 5 cents off or whatever. So anyway, that's good to hear. That's great to hear. Now, I mean, like, in terms of payouts and I suppose the worries that traders have around payouts, I mean, what sort of thing can you give people? Because I mean, the question does come up, and I've seen it in comments and stuff all the time. But are they going to pay out? Blah blah blah. What's the sort of way that traders can feel confident that, like, if I'm going to invest the time in this, I will get, I'm able to pass the evaluations and get the first withdrawal, that the firm will pay out? I mean, what's going to give somebody confidence?
Definitely. Firstly, I just want to invite everyone here to take a look at our Trustpilot, join our Discord group, and there's actually a payout part in our Discord where any trader can talk in and share the payouts. You'll see hundreds of traders that are very happy, satisfied, and proving that Blue Guardian is paying. At Blue Guardian, we are very, we allow the trader to be very free with their trading. We don't have any, restrictions, like we said, with EAs, with weekend trading, with any strategy that you use, given that it's not a malicious strategy that, even like brokers don't allow, like arbitrary latency, HFT, just a few handpicked ones that you can see in our FAQ. But apart from that, there will be no worries about, receiving any rejected payouts. We are very community orientated, and we want our reputation to be the best possible. So we would never allow anything like this, any bad reputation to put out there, and any trader to be in a situation like this. It's literally against our whole theme and branding at Blue Guardian. And as a CEO, I would never let that happen. So yeah, you've got my word there, guys. And like I said, there's hundreds of traders that are receiving payouts each month, and they're sharing it all in our Discord.
And I suppose the longevity of a firm does, in a way, show that they know what they're doing, and they're unlikely to just, after 6 months, they've screwed up the numbers and can't make a payout kind of thing. So yeah, what about, let's dive back into the industry side of things. I want to sort of get your view on what you see a prop firm looking like in 2025, like let's say sort of 2 years from now or a year and a half from now, which isn't that long, but it's already evolved so much. I mean, what do you see a sort of standard prop firm looking like?
Yeah, definitely. So without a shadow of doubt, there's going to be many more prop firms come into the industry. There's going to be some that fail because they're just, either their model's not right, they're not getting enough sales, they're not attractive enough. And there's obviously going to be some that survive, that are different, that have, some clever people behind it and end up thriving. The industry, I feel like there's only so much change that can happen in terms of being for the trader, in terms of the model. We can't just keep giving lower and lower profit targets, giving more and more max drawdown, because it's just not going to be, long-term sustainable for the company. So there is obviously going to be a cutoff point. And the way to kind of improve as a company is by offering maybe additional features to make you want to go with that company. For example, with Blue Guardian, with the Guardian Protector, now that take profit one that we're introducing. So yeah, like there are going to be so many more prop firms to choose out there. You just got to make sure that you go with one that has something different, its own unique feature. Yeah, what did you say about the long our future, generally in future, what will happen? Yeah, so like I said, there's going to be so many that end up going under, potentially due to scamming, and this is eventually going to cause regulations to come in potentially. I have spoke about this with other prop firm owners, as well as got legal advice on it. I think we won't be seeing any regulation in the industry for a couple of years, because there's so many, they have to deal with crypto, for example, first. There's so many other projects out there that these people are in charge need to deal with before they get to prop firms. I know we're all involved in this Forex industry and the prop firm industry, and we think it's massive, but realistically, it's not. Like, we are little fishes compared to the big financial world out there. And these people that are sitting in office in the White House, these guys are quite old. They're not so fast with it. It takes time, it takes years to get things in place. So I feel like we wouldn't get any regulations, any regulatory bodies coming in place for a good few years. And when that does eventually happen, I personally think it will be a good thing for the industry, because the firms that have solidified themselves by then, for example, Blue Guardian, that if that is in a few years, we would be, in a very comfortable position, along with like the Fund of Trader, all these kind of like older firms in a way. We will be able to afford these licenses, afford the regulations, and it just means that you can 100% trust us, and you won't have to have any worries essentially of getting scammed. So I think eventually it will be a good thing for the industry.
And so in terms of like the compliance, have you got any idea as to how they may sort of put compliance against that? Because I'm kind of sort of thinking what it's a very unique model in terms of like people are trading essentially on demo accounts, and you guys are copying those trades when they pass all of these steps. So it's like, what are they complying against? What would the rules be? Have you got any insight or like any idea of what you sort of predict there might be from a compliance point of view and how that may impact the trader?
That's what I mean. So this is why it's so difficult, and it's going to take them so long to work it out, because it is so confusing. If like when you do pass, these traders are trading demo accounts, for example, until they are eventually, A booked. It's very similar to brokers, the B book, the A book. The US is going to get hit first, because they always do with regulations. So, firms like myself, unless we have, a license in the US, we would have to seize essentially any service to these US clients. I don't expect. I have spoke to my lawyer about this, and he said that most likely, because it's such a new kind of industry, they're not just going to ban people straight away. But look, this is what happens day one from now. There's going to kind of be like a grace period where they might say, look, you've got a year, you've got even 2 years to put these things in place. Make sure you the different stuff in place to make sure that when the regulation fully does come on board, then you'll be okay. So I wouldn't expect there to be, agents going around all these offices telling like people they can't run this firm anymore.
So it might be country specific. Like you've got to have a base in the US, for example, if you want to service US clients,
exactly.
Which means, a smaller firm who's based in like, let's say Germany may not go, well, do we really want to create an office up in the US and the cost with that? So that might put them out of that market. So something to bear in mind when you're selecting your prop firm, I guess. That's interesting. So because I was wondering, like, how are they going to comply, make these people comply? I mean, what is it? But I think, restricting geo, which kind of doesn't make sense as well, but who knows?
I think how they're going to do it is it's going to be really hard to, if you're not sure how prop firms work, guys, there's a front end and a back end company. There's a front end company that basically receives all of your orders and just does, the demo kind of stuff through it. And there's a back-end company that basically does all the order flow and actually, A books and B books of profitable traders. So a lot of firms out there, they'll have they have their prop firm company in the US, but if you're not sure, if you didn't know, the US is very restricted with brokers. They won't let you do A book or B book certain things. So what they'll do is they'll have a company, for example, in the Cayman Islands or, Dubai or one of these other kind of like tax havens or where it's less regulated. And it'll be, that's where the actual live environment trading would go on. So yeah, it's going to be very hard to actually pinpoint it on us that are actually not trading, the front end company, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. And now, like sort of on the future, things are changing pretty quickly. Like the 30-day kind of time limit that everyone had at the start is now almost disappearing completely. I know you guys have got unlimited time challenges now. I mean, how has that come about from the point of view of like, it seems like it's almost kind of undermining what the original firm's idea was around, like, we want good traders who can grow an account quickly versus letting somebody carry on until they either, eventually after a few months hit this stop limit or carry on and do start making profit. I mean, traders could swim around in that account for a long time. I mean, how's that sort of going to impact the firms that come on board new, and also, or how do you see it impacting them? And also, what's the sort of change that's happened on the back end that we can't see as just individual traders?
Yeah, so I think, in favor of the traders, this is massive. I remember when I was a trader, trading FTMO with my strategy. If I had even an extra few weeks, it could potentially be the whole difference between me passing and not passing the challenge. So I think this is huge for the industry, and it's came in a very short period of time. Within the last maybe 3 to 4 months, basically every firm out there now, it's the new industry standard. So yeah, I think it's great for the trader. For the firm, you'd be surprised, at the kind of statistic behind it. Yes, it's obviously going to increase, the amount of traders that get on board and pass, but it might even be a good thing because you might even be getting better traders coming on board because they won't be trying to rush and overtrade in the beginning and lose the account. There might even be good traders that end up losing the account, but if they were given more time, they actually do get funded. So I think it's a good thing for the industry as a whole. And yeah, I'm excited to kind of see any more changes that come in the future.
Okay, so yeah, and on the flip side, I mean, have you had any traders that have, have you?
You know what?
Go on.
Yeah, okay, this is an interesting statistic. So every trader thinks, oh my God, this limited time is going to be so much better for myself. But 90% of traders actually fail their evaluation in the first 2 weeks. So yeah, it's crazy to think that, there's so many traders that think the more time I'm going to be able to pass now, it's better for me, but they're still doing the same old, over leveraging, over risking, and trying to rush the process.
And are those the two things that are the downfall, which is, the over leverage, over risk, or is it just poor trading as a whole?
I guess it's all a collection in a way. We don't really analyze in deep because there's so many traders that do fail in the first few weeks. It's not something that we can analyze. It's only the successful traders that we do any analysis on. But I would say definitely, over risking is a massive factor in it. Maybe, they're not even like putting a stop loss. But yeah, I feel like risk management is a massive side of things. Obviously, I could also say yes, they're all rubbish traders, but I can't say that.
I mean, I think us humans have a issue with time and putting time in our minds in the right way. I.e., like a month, you go, oh, if I have to go through this and trade this account for a month, if 2 months, it's going to take forever. But the thing is, if you actually trade that account in a normal way over 2 months, that 2 months will disappear. It'll disappear, and you'll be like, where on earth did it go? So which at the start seemed like an eternity. But by the time if you do it and you just slow yourself down and go, I'm just going to trade this, and it's probably going to take me 2 months, maybe even 3 months, it does start to go, where did the last month go? 5 trading days, just whip through them. And you haven't blown the account at the end of it, which is the idea, and you can carry on. Sorry, you're going to say something there?
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely. I remember when I was, getting the props in the beginning, and before I was even funded, before I even purchased the evaluation, I'll be looking at the scaling up model and start calculating how long it's going to take me until I get to their max account size. And then I started looking at the max account size, and I was like, oh my God, when I'm trading this, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to buy this. And you start, it's all getting emotional. It's all getting into your head, and you're just thinking, I want to get this in the soonest amount of time possible. And yeah, I think a trader's need to sit back and just, take a deep breath and just relax and work out. It's not as quick process as you think or even want it to be.
And what about have you had who's the most consistently successful trader on your books, i.e. the trader that's withdrawn the most, and how long have they been withdrawing for? And can you give us any insight into what they do, which other traders who may be looking, obviously everyone wants to get to that point. What can they do differently to match what this person's doing?
Yeah. So we've got a lot of traders that are withdrawing quite regularly, but one that particularly comes to mind is someone actually posted on our payout. I think his name's Imran, and he actually posted a payout in our Discord maybe 2 days ago, and that was actually his 10th withdrawal, and he's been with us now for 5, almost 6 months. And yeah, that's super impressive to be able to get withdrawal after over 5 to 6 months, getting decent payouts, 4 to 5K each payout. And these traders, we kind of do analyze, and these are the traders that we look to A-book, and we look to work out what are they doing, why they're successful, and how can we replicate it in a way. traders like this, they're always very disciplined. They're always very consistent. You won't see them trading a pair that they've never traded before or a strategy they haven't traded before. If they're trading with a stop loss, for example, they'll always be trading with a stop loss. They won't differentiate out of their strategy, no matter, the situation. And these traders that have the discipline to continue trading that, no matter how, emotional it might get, these are the ones that are most successful.
And what about like if so the average trader comes on there? I mean, how many times do you expect them to purchase an account if they were going on to get a payout?
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like a lot of traders, you always think when you purchase an account, you're going to pass this one. I feel like majority of traders think, okay, I'm going to pass this. And you don't ever really want to think about the negative side of losing the account. But I am going to tell you an interesting statistic that what we've been seeing with a lot of our traders that actually get these big payouts is they generally purchase between 10 and 20 accounts before they get one of these big payouts. I'm talking 10, 20, 30,000. And, a lot of people don't understand that, these, once they actually do eventually get a payout, it's all an expense. Do you know what I mean? All these accounts that they're purchasing essentially is an expense in order to get that one payout, and it kind of pays itself back with the withdrawal that they get. So yeah, I feel like definitely don't be disheartened if you purchase 1, 2, 3, even 5 challenges, you've taken them and you haven't passed them. Look at the stat that I've just given you. Yeah.
So if you had to give like somebody advice in terms of like, and we'll probably wrap up on this, like the best process to go through to try and get that first payout and actually make a profit from the, prop firm trading. I mean, what would that process be from whoa to go, i.e. like even before they purchase a challenge?
So I'll say to begin with, I'll go from the very beginning. To begin with, make sure that you've got your strategy. You've back tested it for long enough. You've demo tested it on not a prop firm account, just a demo, with whatever broker you've got. Once you have proven that you are profitable on that demo account, then I would say, okay, it's okay to begin actually trying to purchase an account. Okay. Once it's proven profitable, of course. Then go with Blue Guardian. Bit self-promotion here, but go Blue Guardian. We've got some of the lowest profit targets in the industry. We've got the Guardian Protector that can help you if you think you're gonna, lose the account. That will help you there. Profit split. Once you do actually become a funded trader, 85% profit split. That's one of the highest in the industry out there without any scaling right off the bat. So yeah, we really are for the trader. We won't, give you some BS about restricting your strategy, for example, because we don't have any restrictions. We allow you to have whatever strategy, EA, weekend trading, whatever you want. And then you said like how to actually get to that payout. Like I said, just make sure that you don't differentiate from what you back tested, because only you are the ones that know that your results actually work. So just make sure that you continue trading the same rate that you did previously. Don't actually get onto the funded account or the evaluation and start panicking and try do something different. No, do what you know and do what you know best. And yeah, then just trade what you know.
And look, guys, I've got to say, I mean, it is one of the most flexible prop firms I've seen, and I've seen a lot of them. And also, you can get a 10% off coupon, which the price is already low. So, I mean, you can get a 10% off coupon with TRADINGNUT. So, folks, if you do want to go and check it out, there is a link under this video or podcast description after this. So, go and check that out. Now, Sean, before we wrap up, have you got any final words and anything else for the listeners?
Yeah, definitely. I'll just say, keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up, and you will get there eventually. But you have to persevere.
Folks, if you're looking for an automated trade journal or trade copier, then check out my sponsor, Swift Journal. They connect to your MetaTrader 4 or 5 broker or prop firm and give you amazing insights into your trading. To get 20% off, click the link in the description and use coupon code TRADINGNUT. All right, folks, there you have it. Interview with Sean done and dusted. Remember, you can get 10% off with the coupon code TRADINGNUT, link in the description, or on tradingnut.com for your Blue Guardian challenge. Other things going on here at the channel, we've got the live streams, Traders Trading Asia, London, and New York. So if you want some support across your trading week, then tune into those. We also have recaps at the end of the week where we're breaking down not just my trading for the week, but also other traders doing the Blue Guardian Challenge. And we have the Mystery Trader still to come. Please sign up to that Telegram channel, and you're going to get access to that very, very soon. All right, folks, enough from me. Have a great trading week, and we'll see you in the next video. Tired of missing trades or spending hours at the charts? Introducing my Robot Builders Club. With our platform, you can build bots in minutes, not weeks, without any coding required. Get lifetime access to my video course, VIP community, and over 40 ready-made robots. Works with MT4 or MT5, and as a bonus, you'll get 3 months access to my robot lab, where we build and test bots on live calls every week. Join the hundreds of traders who are trading smarter, not harder. Click the link in the description to learn more, get the free training, and download a free robot.